Hi, I'm Professor Danilo Araujo, a business law professor here at Law School of Getúlio Vargas Foundation. I'm here today to chat, a kind of an interview with Professor Michael Nietsch, also a business law, corporate law professor from EBS Law School in Wiesbaden, Germany, a renowned professor with who we've already had many activities. And this week he's teaching in our visiting professor program with a great course. I could see that. And now it's time to know a little more regarding your activities, regarding your research agenda. And I would like to start asking if you could tell us more precisely which is your course, what exactly are you teaching this week here at Getúlio Vargas Foundation, and which were your general impressions of the school and the relationship you had with the students and with the school?
Well, first of all, Danilo, thank you for being here. It's a great opportunity.
It's a pleasure.
My sincerest pleasure. And we've been talking about that for a long time, and I'm glad we made it happen. So the class I'm teaching here is about corporate compliance and corporate integrity. And this has been one of my research fields for a long time now. I'm originally a corporate lawyer, and I did my PhD in securities markets regulation. And securities markets regulation has always been a kind of trendsetter for what became the standard for other industries in the area of corporate compliance. So to me, it's an opportunity to bring the two trends together. And I have designed a program that introduces the students as much in the basis and the fundamentals of the subject matter,
sure,
but also acquaints them with some technicalities they might find useful in their practice, in their current practice or later practice. And I found that rewarding because the class I'm teaching is quite heterogeneous. So you have students with quite different backgrounds. Some of them already being legal professionals with a certain degree of experience, others still working on their undergraduate degree.
Sure.
And so the challenge here was to do the program in a way that everybody could take advantage of that and benefit from that and not exclude anybody. And so I feel the students, they've been following quite closely, and they've been paying a lot of attention up to now. We're going to find about the rest soon.
You still have 2 classes to go.
Yes.
And could the students provide you with some feedback on the Brazilian situation? I mean, the issues that arise from your course during the discussions in class. Could the students get provide some feedback, some comparison with the Brazilian situation? How was the feedback from the students considering the same topics in Brazil? I mean.
Well, depending on the student's background, the feedback I'd say is generally very good. We haven't been so specific about the Brazilian situation as I had supposed we would. And you know that within the Law Schools Global League, we always try to add some local flavor. So I was prepared to that, but we haven't done so far. And one of the reasons may be that we haven't explicitly talked about anti-corruption in detail. So we're going to do this tomorrow, and I suppose there will be a lot of comments to be added due to Lava Jato and also the plenty of other operations that have been conducted.
Those issues have been dominating the Brazilian scenario politically, economically, and also in the business scenario in Brazil for the past 3, even 4 years. So I can bet students are going to provide you with a lot of information on that matter. And considering you've just mentioned it, anti-corruption issues, the theme of corruption, it's important to mention that we've already known each other in the last 2 years, because you're the coordinator in the Law School Global League of the Anticorruption Group, Anticorruption Research Group, and develop a group that has been developing many important activities regarding always the anti-corruption issues. Could you tell us more precisely how your research agenda connects with the anti-corruption studies, and how was your contact with the scholars from our school, especially Professor Maria Lúcia, Professor Paulo Goldschmidt, and other colleagues here from Fundação Getúlio Vargas within the Law School Global League, and also the Anti-Corruption Studies Group in the LSGL. Yeah.
Well, the Anti-Corruption Group of the Law School's Global League is one of 4 research groups with that association, and we originally set that up as a group doing research explicitly in that area. However, we have enlarged the topic, also including other areas of legal compliance. Yeah. And this starts from the observation that whereas compliance is often seen as a synonym for corruption, anti-corruption is always seen as a synonym for compliance. As much as true that many elements of compliance systems have been developed in order to curb corruption, but they have been extended to other areas as well. So we thought it's appropriate to enlarge that. It's also because anti-corruption itself cannot be taken for just the anti-bribery provisions, but it's also surrounded by so many areas, mainly an anti-financial crime like money laundering. And so we thought that an expansion would be appropriate. And I have to say that right from the beginning I was surprised how rewarding the experience was, also taking into account that we are scholars from different backgrounds, different institutions, different legal systems, and
it's really a worldwide organization, association of schools.
And so, in spite of the heterogeneity, things were really pleasantly homogeneous. And so I'm really always looking forward to our meetings, and we honestly should try to give that a greater priority in our daily business, something that is not so easy to combine, as you may know, but we all definitely feel that it's worth it, and we are willing to carry on. So we'll have the next meeting in summer, and we're optimistic to publish research on compliance in BRICS countries and certain problems of internal investigations shortly.
And in a broader view, you've already mentioned it, you've already told us what's the specific, which are the specific topics you're covering in your course, also which are the general themes that are covered by the Anti-Corruption Studies Group in the LSGL. But could you tell us, even in a broader sense, which have been the topics you've been dealing with in your academic life? How would you define yourself in academic sense? What have you been producing lately? Which are your next steps in the research field?
Sure. Well, as I said, my PhD was about the area of securities markets regulation, and it's about it was about problems of transnational insider dealing. So it had to do as much with the law and substance on insider dealing as with the transnational aspect. So the applicability of the law and the relevant reasonable links you could apply. So this has always been part of my general interest, being focusing on one hand on areas of the law and substance, and also the international aspects that came to follow. And it's still going to be an important column of my research, because insider dealing has become part of a regime of market abuse under the latest European regulations, and I think it will lead to further challenges in the near future. It's not only about insider dealing, but also about market manipulation. And so will be compliance, because I've made the observation, and I'm convinced that the interaction between compliance and corporate governance in the classical sense will intensify in the near future, and it will completely change our traditional notion of corporate governance. So this is something I will give emphasis on in my future research as well. In the recent past, I've also dealt with classical problems of corporate governance. I've worked about the challenging of shareholder resolutions in my habilitation. So, and I've also analyzed a lot of situations where principal-agent conflict occurs. And I will give some attention to the supervisory board in the near future, because here again we see a change in our corporate governance systems. We see a shift towards the supervisory board, equally with the non-executive directors in the monistic structure of a corporation. And again, this is something that is unfamiliar to the classical understanding of corporate governance. And I think that research has to keep track with the legal changes that already have been implemented, but even more are going to take place in the near future.
Great, great. I'm looking forward to reading all your future papers on every issue you've just mentioned. As I told you, it's a pleasure. It has been a pleasure during this week to host you here at Getúlio Vargas Foundation. It was an honor to meet you previously within the Anticorruption Group Studies activities. And thanks a lot for your course here and for this brief chat. Thanks a lot, Michael.
Thank you, Danilo. Likewise, it has been a great pleasure to be here, and it still is. I appreciate the kind, casual, but at the same time highly professional atmosphere at this faculty, and so that's a really rewarding experience. Good to be here.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Hope to see you very soon within the next few years. Thanks, Michael.
We'll catch up. Thank you, Danilo.